Am I hosting?
Oh no, shit! You are. It's not too.
These guys, man. These guys. I've just come back from badminton. I had a bit of a smash, but we deliberately had 3 guys on today. I'm the shuttle. These 2 are the 2 cocks. But welcome. It's the big day. It's a day of celebration, a day of happiness. The main man, the big man, the El Capitano has committed. I'm getting a repeat. I'm getting some noise back. Is that Gene? Yeah. But here we are. Here we are. Forget the echo. Let's talk about.
You already insulted us. You already insulted us already. But I was away. I was away last week, as I was told I can't celebrate Mohamed Salah for various reasons.
Little jab.
But before we go to El Capitano, listen, Mohamed Salah, he's a red. 2 more years. You guys know the role I'll be playing whilst he plays for Liverpool. Every game he does a score or assist, I will be on his back. But apart from that, away from the show, away from the camaraderie and the circus that we have on here on the channel, it is pivotal, and it was a great moment to see Mohamed at the center of the pitch at Anfield on his throne as king, extending his contract. It was about time. He has publicly told us numerous of times that he wanted to stay. He's not Scouse and bred. He's not born in Liverpool. He's come from Egypt, a very tough journey as him to make it as a footballer. We've seen his journey from Basel to Chelsea, back to Italy to find his feet again, and then he had a point to prove when he came back to the Premier League at Liverpool. So Mohamed Salah is a red. His form will continue. He's a serial winner. He will be winning serial trophies over the next 2 years. Who knows? They might even extend it further for a third. But I, for one, am ecstatic that Mo Salah is a red. I know you two had your own show last Friday, and you waxed lyrical all hour and a half, or however long it was. But I just wanted to say those few words for Mo Salah. Saying that, he has gone missing for the last 6-7 games.
I mean, we missed you, man. We missed you.
I mean, you're lucky, man. You're lucky because today I'm calm as you like, man. I'm calm as you like.
Anjay, he had that written down, Avi. He had that written down. But let's talk about the our number 4, our main man, El Capitano. I tweeted early in the morning, Avi, that he showed proper leadership. He transcended leadership, where he gave Mohamed Salah that first half to celebrate that our best player. I know we don't want to go down that route today. Who's our best player? Who's the most important player? Because the 2 best players and two most important players for Liverpool, the general consensus amongst the Liverpool fan base is they have signed on the dotted line. But he made that half. It felt like he just controlled everything on that day, where he gave Salah his first 45 minutes and then he won the game for us later on. He kissed the badge and then he came out and he calmed everyone's emotions down. Because when Salah signed, it was all about 12 o'clock. Virgil van Dijk is going to sign as well. But when he came off that pitch, he said, look, he calmed everyone's emotions down and said, look, these next few days are to pay respects to the 36th anniversary of Hillsborough. And then once we paid our respects, he signed on the dotted line, and it was all about El Capitano. So I thought he showed not just greatness, but this all leadership on and off the pitch is part of his legacy. And we've got our main man for another 2 years to enjoy.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how captains or certain players react when a figure like a father figure, almost like Jurgen, left, the legacy that he left. And listen, we all know that Verge didn't choose Liverpool. He chose Jurgen first and foremost when they met in the Blackpool Tower of summer of 2017. He had given Jurgen his word. Jurgen had given Verge, presumably, his word that, look, we couldn't get this done over the summer. We're in a bit of bother with the Premier League. But listen, just wait for us. He could have gone to Chelsea. He could have gone to Manchester City, Asim, but he chose the Liverpool Red. And Jurgen plays a big part of that. So when Jurgen left after 8-9 glorious years, you think, how will the captain react? Will Verge sign on? Will Trent sign on? Will Ali signed on? Will they still have that motivation? Will Salah go again? What will Salah be thinking? Salah could be playing for the PSGs, the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, likewise with Van Dijk, likewise with probably what's going to happen with Trent, who's Madrid bound. But, it was always key to see how the leaders reacted. And they reacted, the majority of them, in the perfect way. Salah's pinned down and Virgil comes up with the winner on the weekend. It was a tough game. And, I think half of them, most of them now, it's this finishing line, isn't it? They just, limping over now, Asim. So you can see the drop in performances. People are being overcritical, but they won't praise us for the way we've obliterated this league. We've won it on game. Arsenal nowhere to be seen. And this was supposed to be their year. This was supposed to be Lego Heads season. Man City were meant to go again. And they're nowhere to be seen. They are light years away in terms of the league and where we are positionally. So Van Dijk, Asim, he gave Salah that first 45. We saw that assist to Diaz. And then Van Dijk, gets us that 90th minute. And it only had to be Van Dijk. And obviously observe Hillsborough respects. And he said, later down the week, we should hear something positive. And we did get that news today in the early hours. Well, it was about 3 a.m. before when I thought you guys might have decided to call me. You didn't.
I did call you.
You did call. Thankfully, I thought you didn't. But I think I've got mine on Please Not Disturb because it upsets the buddhi. But very Van Dijk and Salah are going to be here for the next 2 years. And it's important for Slot as well to know that, look, the leaders, the people that have been here, the longevity that Salah and Van Dijk shown, they believe in Arne Slot as well. They believe in his vision. And if they didn't believe him before game one, they certainly believe him now.
Gene, it was always about Liverpool, wasn't it? A few teams were sniffing around, but it was always about Liverpool. And it was always Liverpool. It was always Liverpool for the fifth millionth time. I got it right.
It was, and I think deep down, every single one of us knew Virgil. The three, Virgil, Van Dijk was was a nailed on contract extension. He spoke about it many a times, and I'm just glad. We got them both timed up. We know there's a massive, huge summer coming up. We've got an unbelievable title to celebrate in the coming weeks. And what a befitting way for a player like Virgil van Dijk, who I tweeted today saying there isn't a player who I'd want as captain of Liverpool Football Club lifting that Premier League trophy more than VVD, because he's been an unbelievable servant, an unbelievable footballer who's given us 7-8 years at the highest level. And not highest level in terms of world class, you're talking greatness level. You're talking about arguably one of the greatest centre-backs to have graced and played football. And, to get to be able to see Virgil van Dijk play for another couple of years, he's still going to be up there in terms of how, regardless of his age, because he's such an unbelievable footballer. And I cannot wait. What I can't wait is these two footballers, Salah and Van Dijk, Asim, they haven't signed their contracts to play second fiddle. These guys have signed their contracts because they're ready to go again next season. And I don't really want to talk too much about next season, but what a befitting way to get the contract signed. And in a couple of weeks' time, these two will get an unbelievable reception for number one, signing the contracts, and number two, being two players who were pivotal in Liverpool winning their 20th league title. And look, you saw the photos that came out, the interviews, the couple of videos, the one that, what's that guy called that made that video? You mentioned it to me,
Stephen
Halliwell. Yeah, what an unbelievable video, and I watched that and I was like, you know what, it gave me goosebumps at the time, because it was like unbelievable. And me and Asim were talking about him today, Ali, that he's an unbelievable photographer. And every game, and Asim mentions, Van Dijk and Curtis Jones go up to him at the start, I think at the end of every game, and give him a high five, because his photography is on a different level. But honestly, I'm buzzing that they signed. It's given this football club a massive, massive lift. And I know there's a certain player out there who plays for Liverpool right now that must be seeing this and thinking,
don't mention it.
You must be an idiot. I know I shouldn't mention it. I know I shouldn't. But, Ibrahim Asim, I'll put this call up. Even he goes, call me delusional, but I have a feeling Trent signs. I'll be honest with you. I was all over Twitter today, and seeing the amount of love that the amount of love VVD and Salah got over the last week. This guy must be an absolute idiot to leave Liverpool Football Club right now when greatness beckons for him in terms of how, in terms of him being at this football club for practically all his life. But you know what? That's his way. If he wants to leave, then fair play to him. But I don't really give a shit if he goes. But these two, I'm so excited for the next 2 years because I just get this feeling, and I know, Avi, I tweeted this. I'm on your bus, Avi. I said to you, you called it the reset. I don't think it's a reset. It's a summer of madness. I just feel like, Avi, that this is going to be a summer of madness. And
Avi, he's rebranded your term from the great reset to the summer of madness.
Asim, I'm just thankful that he's on board now. He's not first class. He's not business class. He's not first class. He's right. He's the economy.
Avi, any upstairs on the double decker?
No. He deserves to be at the back of the bus. He's on the back of the bus.
Avi, can I just say something? I had a go at you at that time because when you mentioned reset, you mentioned no contracts are getting signed. Yeah, that was my issue with you. But you always said, and I forgive. One thing, Avi, I give you flowers. Yeah, you know that when it's time to give you flowers, I give you your flowers. You said that this is going to be, and I just feel like there's something brewing. You see all the journalists come out, the way they've spoken about, Liverpool going into, this is going to be a crazy summer. Van Dijk's come out with it, and Arne Slot's come out with it, and you just feel like something is brewing in the background where we're going to go and do a madness in the summer. We might be stupid because I know our owners don't really do it, but every so often our owners give us something, and I just feel like this is the summer where we get what we want.
Asim, and I do want to reiterate this, and I want to make sure it's respected as well. Salah, Van Dijk never played any games. The agents never came out publicly. Rami Abbas has a habit of a little bit of tongue-in-cheek in a very smart way. But throughout the season, Van Dijk and Salah maintained their commitment to this football club publicly as well. When they were questioned, and you had the likes of Sky who wanted just a headline, they remained respectful and they always outlined their intentions. Salah said, I was happy ever since that Old Trafford game when we beat them 3-0. He outlined saying, look, I'm happy here. Van Dijk said, look, this club means everything to me. It was always Liverpool. I want to make sure that gets respected because like Jean has mentioned, a certain local lad, he's been nowhere to be seen. He's vice captain, by the way. He has been assigned vice captain by Jurgen Klopp, and he's maybe done 1 or 2 interviews.
Do you think he'll get cold feet?
I wouldn't want him to get cold feet.
Oh, come on.
No, I said, I'll tell you what it is.
If he gets cold feet, you'll come on here going crazy about the Scouts.
No. Asim, I'll tell you, the way he's conducted himself this season, throughout the season, vice captain, doesn't even come for the post-match interviews. He could easily tell someone like, what's his name? O'Connor of Sky Sports, the main,
Vinny O'Connor.
He could easily tell him, listen, no questions about my future. Vice captain, I just want to talk about the game. He hasn't. He has gone missing a lot of these times, talking about the Ballon d'Or, this. I don't begrudge him going to Real Madrid, by the way. I don't. But I've had enough of the talk. Will he stay? Will he not? For me, he's gone. Good luck to him, but we move on. And
so what if he calls Richard Hughes tomorrow and says, I want to stay. I've had a rethink and this is my future at Liverpool Football Club.
No, fair enough. But I still don't respect him for this carry-on all throughout the season, being double-minded. Should I go?
Avi, he'll give us 2 unbelievable assists and you'll be buzzing again. Trust me. Look, football, we like that. We can't.
Yeah, he'll quote a tweet from 2001 saying, "My right back, I told you so."
Remember the name.
Yeah, I warned you all.
Look, Avi, I'm the one that's in.
I'm not as critical as Davey. I'm not critical as Davey here.
Oh, it's my right, yeah.
No, Dave pretty killed him off.
The damage is done. I agree with Ali. I think there's a lot of damage that he's going to have to rectify and repair if he, God forbid, if he does a 360 U-turn for sure.
But Avi, look, with respect, if there's a player like a Trent, who has given us all his best years, grown at the club, all that. Look, if he's had cold feet and he wants to stay, by all means, I would love for Trent Alexander to stay. I'll say, and I'm the guy that actually called him a rat. I called him everything under the sun when the news was coming out about him wanting to leave the club, all that sort of stuff. But look, There's other greats, Avi, the likes of Steven Gerrard, who had cold feet, who decided to stay at this football club. So look, we have to be fair on Trent as well. If he did change his mind,
he got threatened by the local mafia.
Whatever it was, whatever it was at the time. But and if Trent's changed and wants to say, look, I'm all for it, because end of the day, that's another world class player that wants to stay, but that would stay. But as of right now, I genuinely believe he's off. I've always said that, and I've maintained that position for a long time. And I don't think he will stay. I still think he will leave, because I think his mind has been made up, and Madrid have drilled into him that you are going to get a lot of shit, you are going to get all of this, but if you're prepared, then let us know. He's already given his word that he's prepared to do whatever it takes to get his move to Real Madrid.
Okay, let's talk about a bit more about the captain, Avi. I think he needs a bit of help tomorrow. I had a look at his minutes across all the season that he's been playing, apart from that season where we know what happened. It's been ridiculous. But you get the sense that Liverpool are going to do a bit of succession planning when it comes to Verge, where someone like Huijsen comes in at right centre back, does a bit of minutes for Kanate, does a bit of minutes for the big man himself. Do you want that? Do you think it has to happen next season? Because he's 34 in July, Avi. I know how he looks after himself. We've seen other great defenders, someone like Chiellini. When did he play up to 38, 39, something ridiculous like that? I think Gene touched on it earlier. The greatness, or the great thing about these two lads who have signed, Avi, is they're not reliant on. They're not the slowest, by any stretch. But they've got a head, they've got a mind, and they're one step ahead all the time. When it comes to Salah, is creating isolation on the wings and creating so many assists and chances for his teammates. But when it comes to Van Dijk, he doesn't need to run like a headless chicken because he's one step ahead. So how do you see it going over the next couple of years?
I think there needs to be some sense of rotation. I think we've seen it in previous years. He gets rested for the cup games, but I think going on to the next 2 years, Asim, he will have to have a rest here and there in the league games. Even Salah, how that succession planning looks like this summer, I'm not too sure, but we should be acquiring a centre back. And we'll go on to this.
Is the in-house ITK saying he doesn't know how it looks? Come on, Abby. If
you say to me, Abby, is there a successor to Salah right now on that right hand side? There isn't. There's not someone who's from the right hand side. People can mistake me if I'm wrong. I'm not even sure Rodrigo's is doing the kind of like half the numbers that Salah is doing, or even Lamine Yamal who's doing half the numbers that Salah is doing. Salah is an anomaly in that position. Who do we go for? I'm not sure. Would it be nice to get a good option on the right this season? Yes. I don't think Chiesa is the long-term answer, but who's out there? I mean, if I float some names around, you lot will just have a little chuckle, And in terms of Van Dijk, I think there's centre-back options, but let's face it, you're never going to have a Virgil replacement, a like for like. You will have to develop a defender in the mould of a Dean Huijsen, who still has to build a little bit in his stature, still needs to be a bit more composing, who can be that here to Van Dijk, but you're never going to actually find that Virgil van Dijk. So I think next season, like we see Van Dijk playing 50 games this season or 40. I don't know how many games he's on already, but he's on must be on 40 games this season. Salah's on. That will have to be looked after and catered to by Slot and the conditioning team next season, because the last thing you want is them to start getting injuries on the frequency. That's the last thing that we need for Van Dijk and Salah. But they keep themselves in shape. They are good for the next 2 years. We will still see some majority of the season. We'll see some great performances from the two of them. But we need to limit. There needs to be a limit and balance on how much we play, how much they play.
Yeah, 100%. Gene, if you do decide to start taking Van Dijk and resting him a bit, then that player has to be someone who can ping it 50, 60 yards. I was checking about a week ago, so it might have changed. The numbers might have changed over the last week or so, but I was checking how many passes go into Van Dijk from other players, from the keeper, from the other defenders. Total passes, the highest in the Premier League. Passes into midfield, especially into Gravenberch. That combo is one of the highest in the league. So it has to be a proper bowler who comes in. And like Avi says, there's not another Van Dijk, but you have to try. We have to replace him one day. Maybe not for the next 2 years, but we have to have a plan.
100%. And this is exactly what this 2 years gives us is succession planning. And we have to start somewhere. And look, bringing in the likes of Huijsen, if we do manage to get him through the door, would be a fantastic signing. I'd really like him under the tutelage of Van Dijk over a year or two. Would be fantastic for him, even if it means him playing with him, and even if Kanate is injured, because we know that he always gets injured here and there. So I think, look, we have to Van Dijk, Asim, we have to start this summer. For me, if you ask me, his replacement in a year or two time has to be bought in this summer. Because Salah, you can sort of get away with, in a sense that there's always some forward players that you can bring in. Maybe we'll bring in a proper number 9 who will probably take some of Salah's goals. But bringing and replacing the likes of Van Dijk is difficult. So we have to start. There are players out there that we think, Huijsen's one of them that I do believe has got a crazy ceiling. And we have to go all in, and it's £55 million. Is it? Avi mentioned his release clause a few months ago before anyone else mentioned it. So fair play to him. And if he's the one that we've earmarked, then we have got to go in hard and we've got to go in strong, because it's important that we do succession plan for the future, because otherwise we can't be sat here in a year's time. There'll be succession planning on other players as well. Other players will have got a year older. There might be another player, player that we need to bring in for another player position. And I don't want to be at a position where we're succession planning for 4 or 5 different players. This is a huge summer. This is a summer that will define the next era of Liverpool. Yes, we will go again in terms of over the next 2 years. The Salah and Dykes are here, but we really need to plan what's going to happen in the next few years, because you don't want to be sat here, looking for 4 new world player positions. We needing 4 world-class players in 4 different positions, because that's going to be really hurt us. But look, I trust the board, and that's a big thing. I just get this feeling that this is going to be a massive summer for Liverpool, and I think we will get it right, because generally, I've mentioned this many a times, that our hit rate in the transfer market has always been good when we bring in the players. So if we bring in the numbers, I think we will do pretty well.
Avi, I get a sense that these discussions with Salah, with Van Dijk, I had a bit of a jokey tweet out today that they told them that they can sign 5-6 players, and they said, where the fuck's the pen to sign? But you do get the sense where every journalist is coming out with certain words, where a big summer, important summer, and we've heard it before. Let's caveat everything. We've heard it before, but it's been a good start. And I think even the guys who have been really critical of FSG and the board and the club as a general, I've been very critical of them. And I still stand by. I'm saying, look, I'm going to judge these contracts and transfers at the end of the month. But right now, just to get these 2 contracts off the line, when a lot of fans were thinking all 3 are going to go, and a lot of content creators were thinking all of them going to go as well, because they have to be ruthless. They have to look at the numbers and all that sort of stuff. So right now, in isolation, I do think Richard Hughes and whoever it is do deserve a bit of credit that these guys got them off the line. Right or wrong?
No, totally right. And it also outlines that they must have made them promises, the contractual people, that's Richard Hughes, who's at the forefront. They must have made some kind of promise that, look, the vision going forward is this. These are the blueprint over the next 2-3 years, and these are the kind of players that we're aiming for. And Van Dijk and Salah, there's no way they would have blindly decided the contract and say, okay, look, we won the league, we're okay. They're not settlers. Van Dijk and Salah, they want to be serial winners, and they want to be known for 3-4 league titles, 2-3 European Cups under their belt. They want to be known for personal accolades, whether that means Salah winning the AFCON, or whether Salah wins the Ballon d'Or, whether Van Dijk gets another shout for PFA, or whether they both get a shout for PFA Player of the Season again. They want to have personal accolades as well as winning with their team as well. So that's why it's imperative that they were shown a blueprint on player recruitment for this summer. And look, we've been mentioning it, and yes, we can talk about this. Blue Chip's been saying reset, and it's been Gina's today with Summer of Madness. But look, the big journalists are saying it. Asim Ornstein has been saying that there's something in it. There's people. James Pearce, I'm not sure what he said, but Joyce is kind of signaling that.
James Pearce actually mentioned Huijsen today, I think. I've not read the article, but I saw the headline.
We'll drop a bomber on Huijsen later on. Joyce saying that there's going to be, quite a bit of expenditure at the football club. So look, it was going to happen, because the changes that we've made at the top, the likes of Pedro Marquez, Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, Julian Ward coming back to the fold, the Mark Burchell as well, who's doing work behind the scenes. They're not all coming in just to, bring in one, bring in two, sell two, bring in, sell three. They're bringing in to see an overhaul of changes. I don't believe they could have done an overhaul of changes under Jurgen Klopp because Jurgen was a bit loyal to his team. He was a bit of a stick on who he wanted to keep, and he did have a bit of loyalty. I think the recruitment team that's coming forward, they're going to have players, and they might not be the 60, 70 million pound players. They may still be a couple of project players this summer that come in that they know that Slot will be able to develop for higher value in the coming years, and they'll turn them into world stars like we did with Mane, Bobby, and Salah. I think that will still be the structured model, but I think we will see more substance to the signings that we make in terms of the player profiles.
Okay, we'll go around the table again. I'm sure maybe.
Just want to shout out Wiki, Sabr Karo please.
What's he saying? I've not seen the comments.
I've seen it. Carry on.
He just said something. It's the agenda. The agenda has begun.
Okay, let's go.
I'm not surprised seeing as he's Asim's nephew.
Oh, is it one of them? I've not seen it. Vicky Sabakar. Let's go to the super chats. Thank you very much, Park Life Manager. Bring Rayan Cherki now, ASAP. We'll talk a bit about Rayan Cherki once we get into the transfer market later on. There's another super chat. LFC Super Kai. Thank you very much for your super chat. Big up. The best trio back together. We're getting a lot of love tonight. I think that's what I said, Abby. It's been a while. Hope you are well, fellas. Buzzing with Van Dijk. But who do you reckon we could sign in the summer then? They are all adamant it's going to be a big summer. Up the BNR. Thank you very much. Great super chat. Let's stick with this then. Look, Avi, I think we need to really look at the homegrown quarter, don't we? Because if there's likes of Tyler Morton leave, Harvey Elliott leave, a few others leave, then we're not going to have any homegrown players. Keller is probably going to leave. So we have to look at this really, really smartly. And this is the reason why some players like Frimpong, I know you said there's no real link, but that sort of player, if he comes in, at least he counts as a homegrown. But how do you see it? I still think Liverpool will sign a maximum of 4 players in the summer. I hope I'm wrong, but I still think, doesn't matter how big the summer is, I think it's going to be a maximum of 4. It might get late on, as you might get a little deal for 15, 20 million here and there, depending on because sometimes you don't plan for something, do you? A player knocks on your door, a player becomes available, just like even an Alisson deal. We thought he's going to go to Real Madrid, I think it was. And then suddenly they bought Courtois, I think, at that time, and then he became available, and we went in for him. Something like that. If an opportunity, that word again, becomes available, I think we'll act. But I think in terms of the priorities, I think they'll target 4. Right or wrong, Avi?
I think you're wrong, Asim. I think 4 is.
I hope I'm wrong. I
don't even think 4 is the minimum. I'll say that.
Okay.
I do think we will. I think that we're working on 3 deals already. That's your first bomber. I think we're already working on 3.
I think 1 deal is done. I'll give you another bomber.
I think 2 are very, very close.
Wow.
Can I give the Huijsen news?
No. We'll see how many likes we've got first.
Fair enough. I need Gina to put his camera off and I'll give the Huijsen news because I look at him when he does it.
Avi, what was my first words to you today? I'm calm as you like today. Relax.
He's gonna believe every word.
I'm calm as you like. Today you can give Avi. I give you permission to give bomber after bomber, and I'm gonna believe every bomber you come up with today. And if every bomber you come up with today, I'm with you today. So whatever you say, Avi, I'm gonna be. I'll tweet it saying yes. Avi told me, and he's bang on.
Asim, I finally won him over. I think what we have to realize is, Asim, there's a lot of outgoings. There's a lot of shipping out to do.
Yeah.
And I think there was I think it was on this show. I think Billy was mentioning it as well on the other day. He was mentioning that Feyenoord, when Slot is ruthless in his second season or something, Feyenoord, he did quite a clear out. Some players that were very favoured by the fans didn't believe that he was shipping out players that they thought were going to stay long-term at Feyenoord. So I think we will see a whole host of changes. I think Arne Slot as well, Asim, will feel that even though they've won the league, there's a lot of work to be done. I think there's players at that club that he does not fancy. And some are homegrown, the likes of Harvey Elliott. I know everyone has a soft spot for him. I've got a soft spot for him. But I think, it's kind of curtains for him. We won't care for homegrown rules for certain players. If we feel that we can get value for Harvey Elliott now, we will sell him. Same with Tyler Morton. There's question marks over Joe Gomez, But yeah, Kieran Thorne, who's usually on our comments, he will tell us that homegrown will be an issue. I think there are players who meet that homegrown criteria in the Premier League as well that we will be targeting, maybe even championship players, dare I say it. But the likes of Bajicic, what happens with him? Because if he comes back on loan, he's happy to play in defense, in midfield as well, like a hybrid role from time to time. He's part of homegrown as well. So there's a lot of swapping and changing to do. I look at the likes of Ben Doak, who will command a fee. Lewis Kumas, I don't think he will be. Who
are you going to be? Who are your homegrown quarter going to be next season? Talk to me.
For me, we'd have to keep Joe Gomez.
One. Bas.
Okay, now I'm struggling myself. Curtis Jones.
2. Does Bradley count as home court? I'm sure he does, doesn't he?
Conor Bradley.
3. Bajicic, are you keeping him?
Terrell Kwanzaa.
4. Are you keeping Kwanzaa?
7, Bajicic.
7? How are you on to 7 straight away?
Stefan
Bajicic.
Oh, I thought you said 7.
That's 5. There's a player that.
Are you counting? You're sticking around. Tyler Morton, you're selling. I think Tyler Morton.
Harvey Elliott's out.
Tyler Morton's contract is over, so he's going.
Elliott's out. Kirk is not homegrown.
He's under 21, isn't it?
Would this be
McConnell's sticking around.
McConnell. Would this be Kirk's third season though? But doesn't he have to come through the system? Kieran Thorne, he will confirm.
Kelleher.
Naoni won't. Naoni won't qualify still.
You only need 8. He's right.
We're about 3 off. Robertson Wood. Andy Robertson Wood.
Yeah. What are you on?
We're on 6.
We've got more than 6.
What I think
Jaros is staying as well. No,
he'll go on
loan.
No. I think Liverpool. I think he runs out of contract. Jaros.
No, he's gonna get a new contract.
That's what I mean. I think Liverpool re-sign him.
Yeah, I think Chutti for thing you need to re-sign him. Maybe for that work.
But I think if you're going to be under 21s don't qualify for the homegrown. That's what the rule is.
Weird.
That's what it is. If you're not 21, if you're under 21 and under, you don't get classified as a homegrown.
Yeah,
and it's a bit weird. If you do go with 7, then it knocks out like a non homegrown player.
You could be right. I'm pretty sure when we bought Alex Manninger a few years ago under Klopp, I think it was because of this as well. This rule that we have to get. I don't know. It might have just been
Gomez.
Robbo isn't homegrown.
Gomez? Did you count Gomez?
Robbo wasn't.
Billy goes. Robbo don't count. So does Conor Bradley count then?
But there is a lot of moving around the pieces here. Tyler Dibbling wouldn't count either. That's something Tyler Dibbling.
Yeah, I think they'll get 8. Joe Gomez will stick around. I think there's a message here. He's got Harvey Elliott in. You've got Harvey Elliott out.
Harvey Davis would be Harvey Davis is a good shout. So there's a lot of moving around. There's a lot of pieces to move around, Asim. And we might have to look at the British market as well.
Ali wants Morgan
Rogers.
Okay. Let's talk about Harvey Elliott. You guys watched the game today. I came back from badminton and all my timeline was Liverpool fans waxing lyrical about Rayan Cherki. Gina, I'll go with you first. I saw your tweet. You said he's absolute class. Talk to me.
Honestly, I saw him today. He was brilliant every time he receives the ball. He oozes class every time he gets it, man. And I was really, really impressed with him. He can turn on a sixpence. He can go past players. Yes, he might not be the quickest. He might not have the crazy work rate maybe required for the Premier League. But trust me, in that 10 position, this guy gets the ball, he's going to cause havoc. He's got an unbelievable left foot. He's got a fantastic goal. There was one where he beat like 2 or 3 players and Onana pulled off an unbelievable save. And they're just an idiot bloody Leon took him off as well when they shouldn't have, because he was a brilliant man. I was really impressed. I was actually every time he received the ball in the first leg, I watched him the amount of times he received it, and he did really well with the ball. But today he showed me another level to his game. And if somebody said to me right now, Harvey Elliott's gone and you're gonna sign Rayan Cherki, I would take that right now. And I'm a bigger Elliott fan, but there's something about Cherki in terms of the X factor. He can pick out a pass. He's so comfortable on the ball, and he reminds me. I tweeted saying, players like him 15 years ago, we would really laud players like this, because they were the tens that you look around that will give you the class, that will give you the cutting edge in a game. They can unlock defenses. That's the type of player he is. I know we live in an age where it's all about pace, but this kid has got some special ability. And yes, both feet. That's another massive trait that's rare in footballers nowadays. He's got every attribute. It's just the only thing that slightly worries me, Asim, is his pace. And in terms of his work rate, if he's able to track back, do all of that. But we've seen players that we've thought in the past don't have it in them. When they come to Liverpool, it's a different kettle of fish, and you made to work to play in this football team. And I think if he came here, honestly, Asim, he is a fantastic signing, and for 25 million, he's a snip.
I mean, would you say he's a bit of a maverick?
They have a knack of this, don't they, Leon? A certain French Algerian before in the name of Nabil Fekir. Very similar footballers, very similar. That sort of last sort of third zone, the zone 14, 13, 15, 16. That final third where they would do.
I mean, you've been doing some research, man, recently. Where's his zone 13?
Whilst he's away, he tells us that he doesn't watch the shows. He's in the shows. He is always in the shows.
Nabil Fekir was one that got away. And guys, we remember Fekir Friday. We're both, all three of us are old enough to remember that. He was the talisman that I wanted at Liverpool. Even to this day, I still rue the day that his medical at Clairefontaine failed, and Paul Joyce at 8:30 a.m. Big shout out to Graham Kelly, who posted the news, I think 5 minutes before Joyce did, and said, this Fekir deal's off. Heartbroken, Asim, but he's a talisman who's similar to him. Cherki's numbers have been great this season. I think he's got some astronomical numbers in terms of assists. It's the longevity in him. It's his legs, Asim, that are fair. Is he a 90-minute player in the Premier League? He can look good in the French league. He can look good in these slower leagues like the Italian league. But how does he come up in the Premier League? It's the legs. And we've seen Slot mention legs, long strides, the Szoboszlai, why he's so relied on. Curtis Jones, because of his, he had to change almost his whole sort of game outlook on how football should be played under Jurgen Klopp. Can Cherki do the same? I'm not too sure. 15 million, I would take that chance if we're looking for a maverick, but the maverick should also be told he won't be starting week in and week out. And I'm not sure if he's going to do that.
That's the important thing, isn't it, Avi? That if he's not going to start week in, week out, then it probably makes it easier to accept him, especially if you get 30-40 million for Harvey Elliott. Would you see him coming in regardless? No?
I don't think this is real. I don't think this is
Avi, I think Harvey Elliott.
Sorry? You've gone.
No, Harvey Elliott's done. Is that what you meant?
I said him.
No, you're frozen.
Harvey's taking the cable out. Asim, what did he say? Harvey? He said Harvey is gone, I think.
No, I said, do you think Rayan Cherki comes in regardless? And I think he said he still comes in even if Harvey Elliott sticks around.
I know people are going
to. Where are you going to play him? We're not going to have 2 10s.
I think people are going to come from you. Asim, I don't think there's any interest in Rayan Cherki.
At 20, what if someone like Chiesa leaves? Can you see Rayan Cherki coming in and play him in that wide area? Even though I don't really like him, but he's an option. Then you can play. You can do bits in the number 10. You can come on the wide area as well.
Asim, I don't believe Rayan Cherki is an option.
Is that a bomber?
That's not a bomber. That's just me telling you.
He's just putting out a bomb. He's diffusing a bomb.
I'm diffusing. Look, it's hard to explain. I think the younger generation will love Cherki. I love Cherki. I love how he wants. He's a street footballer. We all love street footballers. I don't think he's a Liverpool footballer. I don't think he's a top team footballer, a top 4 team, like a Manchester City. Would he work in a Manchester City team? Would he work in an Arsenal team? Would he work like has he got what Odegaard's got? Odegaard's got that work rate. Can he develop that? Maybe he can, but I just don't think so.
When I tweeted, and I have to admit, in November I hadn't seen much of him. I've seen a bit more of him now. And in November I said Rayan Cherki would make a lot of sense for Liverpool. And he splits opinion. He splits opinion even today. But a lot of people, the guys against him, said he doesn't run. Did he run tonight?
He ran tonight. From what I saw, they were down to 10 men as well. I thought he ran quite a bit from what I saw. Yes, there were moments in the game. There's moments in the game, Asim, where you know what, you probably expect a bit more from him. I'm not gonna lie, but he is their maverick. He is their one player that's probably allowed to not work as hard because he's the one who brings the numbers to the table. Somebody put up a message in the group that he's a second in Europe for assists behind Salah this season, and that's not that's a difficult start. You have got to be a decent footballer to be able to put a stat up like that. And I know it's the French league, but he's not exactly playing for PSG. He's got something about him, man. And if you need a player where you need a player to come on and do something, and you want some magic, I think this guy's got it. I think he's got that magic in him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But I really like him from the two. If not just this game, from the first game as well. And if in today's market, Avi, that's nothing.
Avi,
so I do want to comment on this. He has been around since the age of 15 as well. He has had 5-6 full seasons at Lyon. He came in as this hot prospect. Was going to take the world by storm. The next Ben Arfa, but with a bit more application. He just hasn't. He's had this breakout season this year, and these are the numbers that he should be doing. Do you know if he does these numbers next season at Lyon or wherever he goes, then I could say, you know what, he could fit in. But this is his first breakout season since he's been a footballer since 15. He has broken in this Lyon team since 15, so this is his first breakout season, and he's had a fantastic season. I just don't think that we pull the trigger on Ryan.
Do you think we going by what Atiq said, Avi? I don't think we get Cherki. He was looking for a better player. Do you think we go in for a better player in that position? Then is that why you think?
Who are the better players?
Reason why?
Look, for an 8-10, I would take Sudakov.
Do you think you obviously already told us that Liverpool are looking at him? So do you think they ignite their interest and take it further?
I hope so, but there's nothing out in the public domain. So at the moment, I'm looking like an idiot, like the majority of the time I am looking at Xavi Simons. But I know you've said, Asim, that there's interest, but I'm kind of feeling opposite. I don't believe there is real interest in Xavi Simons. He's a player that I think every club likes. He's young.
Yeah.
He's been at Barcelona. He's been at PSG. He didn't settle in at those two clubs. He's found his feet at Leipzig for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
I still don't think Xavi Simons is a Liverpool player either. A player that I loved is only that Arsenal game where I changed my mind over him. Kudus in that 8-10. I think he's brilliant. Not off the right, not a Salah replacement. If he needs to go there in an emergency, yes. Mohamed Kudus.
Avi,
can you see Liverpool spending? I don't think he'll be. I think we can get less than 70 million for him. 50
have you seen his
50 to 60 for Kudus? I'll take him.
You will get Mohamed Kudus for 50.
For a guy that has got 3 Premier League.
His numbers, his numbers haven't been great, but he's been in the Premier League for 2 years. I feel
85 million release clause.
If Zach's saying that, then there's no chance.
Dean thinks Kudus will end up in Saudi. I won't be surprised with that. I won't be surprised because anyone who buys Kudus in the Premier League, they have to pay the money, Avi, and everyone's got a few nerds. Everyone's got a laptop. I'm just concerned unless you buy someone like Kudus to be a ball carrier, and you're not really paying much attention to his numbers, then I think you bring someone him in. I think you have to understand is Arne Slot does want more output from Szoboszlai. He's mentioned it a couple of times.
Would we take Kudus for 60?
I would take him. because I think you see there's a really multifunctional type of player, and I think you can scale him up. Now the nerds and the guys who don't believe in him or don't think he's gonna be a success at Liverpool will say, look, how are you gonna take him from 3 goals and 2 assists, or it might be the other way around from this season? What is he gonna get 7? But I think the way West Ham are using him is like a player who comes deep and carries it. But his passes or his progressive passes into the box concern me, Avi. That's what concerns me. And the number 10 needs to be, you look at Xavi Simons, you look at Rayan Cherki, for goes, his passes and carries, dribbles into the box are off the scale. And I know he's playing in the French league, but even Xavi Simons, Rayan Cherki's stats are better than Xavi Simons this season. His underlying numbers. And that's what the nerds will look at. So I think there's a lot of moving parts, Avi. I think there's a lot of moving parts where we might have 3-4 areas of priority, but they might not be available.
Do you think there's genuine interest, Asim, in Simons and Cherki?
Avi, all I said in my tweet last week was, I know from a good authority that Liverpool have always liked Xavi Simons. Now, I think the manager would like him as well. Why? Because what he gives you is he's a half space, what do we call him? A half space hunter, where he can turn and he can run into the box, and he's got a bit of everything. Whether you go completely to a natural number 10, like the ideal guy, Cheens mentioned him, is Florian Wirtz. Well, I don't think we're gonna get him. Let's forget about him. So we need to look elsewhere. Morgan Rogers, I don't think is gonna happen.
If Villa miss out of the Champions League, Asim, then I'm just coming to you because I know you're always hosting and you don't get enough mic time when you're hosting. Morgan Rogers, because he's had a taste for that Champions League now, and he's put in 2 big performances against PSG and he's played well throughout the Champions League. If they don't get Champions League, Asim, surely he's not going to be wanting to play on Thursday's Europa League. Surely there's a price
there. Are you talking about? Have they got some PSI issues as well?
I think if they don't get Champions League, they'll have to sell one of their big assets.
I think Florian Wirtz will go to someone like City. I can see them getting him. We might go for him, but the good thing about Rodgers is he's, again, very versatile. We've seen him on the left, we've seen him on the right, we've seen him on the thingy. I think it just depends. Maybe it depends on how big we go on other areas. Something has to give. Look, we all want the ideal number 1. I don't think it's going to happen. It just doesn't. It's not going to happen. We might go for someone like. I still think we might have a crack at Isaac. We will have a crack at Isaac, but we might just get a straight no and then move elsewhere. We might go for Ekitike and they might ask for £80 million, and that's what the talk is, this week. So we might just have to go down a bit, and then we might spend a bit extra in other areas. We might even go with Conor Bradley and someone else. We might not even bring a right back. I don't know.
Can I rebuff something else as well?
Of course.
Sorry, I don't want to rain on your parade. Nothing in Hugo Ekitike.
Okay.
Again, that's source for source now. I don't think there's anything in Hugo Ekitike. Dean Regan, he's PSG bound.
Who is
Rodrigo Moura for Porto? He's an astonishing footballer already. He's a great job.
He's class, man, Avi. I've seen this kid. He's good,
From what I was told, PSG already made
a few rounds there. So yeah, look, I think there are a lot of moving parts. But Avi, there was a question from Atik. It was.
There's breaking news. There's breaking news here.
Yeah, I saw that about an hour ago before we came in. But I don't know.
Atik.
Yeah, I think he said Rayan Cherki or Kudus, I think it was.
Avi, if you ask me, I think we get one of Isak or Gordon.
Gordon?
I think one of them two is coming to Liverpool.
Wow.
I just got this feeling. No, Bomber, I just get this feeling that Liverpool will go for one of them. And one of them is, I think it's time for one of them to go now. Even if they get Champions League. If we get Champions League, I think Gordon, if we want him and Diaz goes, I think he comes. But I think we will go for Isak first. I think we will go all out Isak. If we don't get Isak, they're going to say, okay, don't give us Isak, but Gordon were coming for you.
I
I just get this feeling he's made for us, man. He's made for us.
How much would Gordon cost now? 80 million?
75 million quid, I reckon.
Chalo,
He may
75.
be.
Diaz, who's had a 23 GA for someone who's had a
Here comes the defense lawyer.
who's had
No, I agree with you in terms of. I think that Gordon's the better player.
the homegrown too, I suppose. No, that's fine. I'm not arguing with Gene. I'm just saying.
Avi, Acheen,
I tell you one thing, Avi. Gordon would ball for us, man. I'm telling
he's a
you,
proper
man.
Liverpool player.
You know,
He's made for us, man. There's some players that are made for us. Gordon is made for us.
If Harvey Barnes was 3 years younger, I would have taken Harvey Barnes over Gordon. I rate Harvey Barnes so like injuries in the last 3 years. Injuries the last 3 years. He's a double-figure player, man. Double figures even at Leicester, he was hitting 30, 11 goals a season. And Jurgen Klopp was a big fan of him too.
I think Harvey Barnes
lacks the X factor.
I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a good player. He won't win the league.
It's not good enough to win the league. There was something else I saw in the comments. Billy, I think it was Billy. No, my bad. I think Isak is, and I with your feelings, Gene, I think Isak, if we don't get Isak, Asim, then be prepared to be slightly underwhelmed with the second option. And it's not Hugo Ekitike.
What did anyone watch Ekitike today?
Apparently he wasn't great.
I didn't watch him.
I didn't watch him. I was out. I didn't watch him.
But I'm just putting it out there. If Isak, I think we'll make early headways in trying to do what we can with that deal, and try to persuade Newcastle. It's all about top four. But if we don't get Isak, be prepared to be underwhelmed.
Okay, if we're underwhelmed in the forward line, Avi, we're gonna get one biggie, aren't we?
Not as a 9, if it's a second option. No.
Forget the 9. If we don't get the 9, okay, TK, right? I'm okay, but we can't not get a big one. And the big ones, I mean, one player that's going to be touching the 80-90 million pound mark. I think one player we have to show real ambition in the summer, like a Florian Wirtz or an Isaac. Somebody along them lines has to come in. We can't be going for Etikite or I know you've rubbished him, yeah, but meaning you think it's not going to happen, and still get like a Kerkez, Huijsen. I think one player has to be the main signing.
For me, if Diaz goes, it's got to be Nico Williams. If Diaz goes on the left, it's not Gordon.
Can I come back to you on that one?
Yeah.
If you think we're not signing, if we get a no from
what about his numbers, Avi? They're worse than bloody Kudus is, I think. With respect.
Look, his last 10 games, he's been on fire.
Who
and if you see my tweet early on this season, in September, October time, I said this season will be a season of nurturing and learning for Nico Williams. Because he's had a bit of hype from the Euros and last season, but this season, he just had to calm down things a little bit. And last 10 games, he's been brilliant for them.
Okay. Avi, going back to the striker, you think if we get a no from Isaac...
I can't give that name out, but I will give it within the week. And it's gonna I think Gino's gonna say, who the F is that guy?
Oh yeah, please don't say that to me. I'm on the train, man. I'm on your bus right now, and you're giving me this bloody shit news. Don't give me that.
Avi,
Asim, I've got a question.
Get a hint?
I got a question for you, Asim. Would you take if we sold Diego Jota for 25 million? If an offer of 25, 30 million we accept, would you take Jonathan David on a free as a replacement?
I said about a month ago that I think Liverpool might look at something like that. If like let's say Diaz, Nunes and Jota leave, and then we go big 80-90 million pound on a striker, I can see someone Liverpool bringing someone like Jonathan David in because he's free and it allows something like I might point earlier on. Something has to give out, Avi. We haven't got a pitless pot that we're going to be spending in the summer. It's not going to happen.
So you would do that Jonathan David deal. He's 24, 25.
I'll be honest with you, Avi. I've not seen Jonathan David.
Gina, he's got a good goal. If you're talking about Cherki doing numbers in French league, there's certainly done numbers. He doesn't excite me, but Jonathan David on a free, he's got a goal scoring record at Lille. Your thoughts?
You know, when he was younger, when he first sort of coming through, I sort of wanted him then. But I think the more I've seen of him over the last couple of years, he just doesn't have the X factor, have he, man? For somebody like to him to come to Liverpool and say he's gonna go to the next sort of level, I don't really see a next level in him. And look, we can't be wanting to sell the likes of Jota, all right, and a Darwin, and come up with a Jonathan David, bro, on a free transfer. Just doesn't make sense. What the name I'm seeing on there, Avi, and I've mentioned him on previous show, Victor Osimhen. Go and get me that lad, man. That guy is 30 plus a season. I'm telling you, Victor Osimhen will get you 25 to 30 goals a season. But Dave, you could in writing.
Is he on his slot, number 9? Is he a facilitator as well?
Coacher.
He's got that guy can do everything. I'm telling you, he connects play. Asim, he's a good connector. He can finish. He's in the box. He's brilliant. In the air, he's brilliant. He's physical. He's strong. He's got the lot. And you know what? He's proven, Asim, that he's gone on and won a title for the likes of Napoli. And I know he's at Galatasaray right now, but he scores wherever he's been. So he's a proper 9. If you want,
we've got another guy.
I think he's 28 though now, isn't he?
Osimhen, 27
No.
maybe.
27?
Maybe I might be wrong. He might be 28. He might be 26 or 27 actually. Gene check.
26.
Yeah.
Turns
Gene,
27.
a few nerds are saying he's not the Arnie slot, number 9.
It doesn't. Yeah, come on, man. You lot said to me at the that this guy, he's got everything, man. He's a proper number. That's what I said. He's a proper 9. The guy's can do everything.
There's a number 9 that Bilal mentioned.
On
Not the Omar Yordion. You better have mentioned that.
No. Here it is.
Who the hell is Samu?
Here it is.
Striker.
Here it is. You ready for this?
Go on.
Bournemouth striker. Not seen much of him, Asim. He was injured for quite a while, wasn't he?
It's a handful. I'll give him that.
No. We saw him against Liverpool when we were all down. When I met you for the first time, Gene. Liverpool.
Yeah.
Luis Diaz audition. He was playing up top. I'll give you the name anyway, Asim.
Here we go.
Wait. Avi, I'm with you. I'm on the train with you. I promise.
He's actually had a good season. He's not the Georgian that we all want, but a name just got given this week. Mikautadze. Plays for Lyon.
He's a good player, you know.
Plays for Lyon.
I remember him from the Euros. I've not seen him at Lyon. I remember him at the Euros.
That's the one, yeah, Mikautadze.
He's got that little thingy about him, man. He's got a bit of a shuffle.
He's had a good season this season. And he's
been
linked
to him.
I've been looked at, whatever you want to say. He's been looked at.
Oh no, I've seen this lad.
How many goals has he got this season? Can someone say?
How much would he cost? This lad?
I literally got that name on Monday, and I would have done a show on Monday with you guys, but
Dijk knows him. He had a good Euros.
How many?
He had a good Euros. That's what I've seen him,
and he likes him.
So Dean Regan says he's got 9 this season. Jazzy B's one's pretty good.
We won't put that up.
He's got 9 in the league. How many in all competitions, Dean?
Mikautadze.
I know he's had a
9 goals, 5 assists.
Is that just in the league though, or all competitions? 15 goals.
I mean, can you see Mikautadze being a first choice next season?
Asim, I was told that if we don't get Isak, be prepared to be underwhelmed. But people say that he's okay. Some people are saying F off bench or that's not whatever. But and if that deal was to happen, I don't want no credit. That's not to do with me. That's just a name that I got given. It is what it is. 15 goals, 10 assists. If you're looking for a facilitator, connector, I'm not even sure if does he play centrally though for Lyon, or does he play off more facilitator?
He's off from the left hand side. I saw him. Sorry, from the left hand side. But
and he will link up with Mohamed Kudus, so maybe fair enough. I've got to see more of him. I don't believe he's got enough pace.
9 goals and 5 assists in 29 matches in the league.
Is he quick?
You tell me.
Go get Victor Osimhen, man. I'm telling you, if we can't get Isak,
it's AFCON next season. So him and Salah will be gone.
No, man, that's the flipping problem, isn't it? With respect to AFCON, I know it's difficult, but it coming in mid-season is hard for teams. It's hard because it really does. The teams that have got a couple of players from Africa really struggle. So maybe in the summer, I'm sure they didn't do it in the summer.
I've got a bone to pick. They did it one summer. I've got a bone to pick with you. You talk
Me?
about all these, you go to Turkey all the time to do whatever transplant work that you get done, Botox, whatnot. You actually don't scout very well because there's a player that you should know of, plays for Frankfurt. We won't hear from him until another year or 2 years. Kousi.
He came on today. Well, you're not about. Don't talk to me about Turkish footballers. Did he come on today?
Good.
Why are you talking to me about Turkish footballers?
Is he good?
This is why I'm saying go and sign Victor Osimhen. I've watched him at Galatasaray. The guy is gonna ball. He's decent,
Chan Usin.
No, we're not linked to him though. Don't tell me we're linked to him as well. I know I'm on your team.
I asked Andrea to do a thread on him. I think we'll hear a lot of him in the next 2 years.
One guy goes, he's unreal on Football Manager.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
This guy keeps popping up. Gina, I know you don't like him. He scored goals. Matteo Rotigi.
I adore him.
He's got a bit of Lautaro Martinez about him. He's a goal scorer.
He reminds me of Fabio Barini, man. Please, I don't want to. Them, Italian type strikers, that weird type strikers. They just give me bloody. Remind me of Barini, man. I can't deal with it.
Asim, make sure that we keep an eye out on this kid for the next year. I think he'll have a big move as well in him from Frankfurt.
Okay. Are we going to talk Huijsen, Avi?
Kenan Yildiz?
I really like Yildiz. Really wicked player.
You see how he says it as well? He says it proper like Turkish. Yildiz.
Avi, do you think we bring someone in midfield? Not the 10. We've talked about the 10.
I think there's got to be there's got to be players that we've definitely looked at. I mean,
one player I've got to get.
I want Lamine Kamara.
I want Adam Wharton.
Well, he's going to be 70-80 million, no?
He'll be homegrown too.
Stiller. I've not still seen Stiller. But a lot of people like him, man.
Stiller is a good footballer. I've been watching him in the last week or two. Proper. I've been complaining about Liverpool.
We've got good footballers. Gravenberch, Mac Allister, good footballers. We need something a little bit different.
I don't think, apart from Mac Allister, when he comes deep in midfield, we don't have a tempo setter. I think Angelo Stiller is a tempo setter at 30 million. The only thing I would say about Stiller is I can't see him playing alone in that pivot because I think he needs someone like a Baleba next to him that can cover space. Players like Rayan Cherki and Stiller, they have got unbelievable qualities. And I've been complaining about Liverpool and Ryan Gravenberch has an unbelievable season. But I believe Ryan Gravenberch's one of his biggest weaknesses is that 20 to 30 yard diag, whether he's going to Salah or going to on the other side, where he can you're sustaining the attacks, keeping it moving. And that 20, 30 yards is a very, very important pass. Stiller has that pass. Ryan Gravenberch doesn't have that pass. But the only thing I see Stiller is just another Mac Allister. I think Mac Allister, if he plays deep, and we saw it when he played deep for Jurgen Klopp, he had that. He can dictate a game. And even in a slot side, whenever we've got an aggressive side, you see Mac Allister a lot of the times being deeper than Ryan Gravenberch, because I think he's got that. The only problem he doesn't like to be there, or Slot doesn't like him to be there on a permanent basis, is because he thinks he's not press resistant enough. And he likes Ryan Gravenberch. That's the problem. We've got so many qualities in our midfield, but we don't have a guy who's press resistant, but it's also a tempo setter. Mac Allister's he can play a pass from deep. But the problem is, like I said, Ryan Gravenberch, the way he's got a dribble and can drop a shoulder, Mac Allister doesn't have that. So I think we need that trait, and we've got proof of that, Avi, because Zubamendi wanted to come in. Well, we wanted Zubamendi to come in. Whether we go for that trait again, it'll be interesting. Or does Arne Slot have got a year experience under his belt now? And I think he is surprised about the physicality of this league, especially in the last month or so, coming up against Everton. You see all our games against real physical teams, Avi. We haven't had the control in the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we bring someone in But I do feel like Stiller does look like a player that needs a guy who can cover space and play with him. But it'll be interesting to see which way we go.
This kid on loan at Valencia, Barranchilla, he's a good player alongside Javi Geratina. The two Valencia duos, those two. I know Barranchilla's on loan from Villa, actually. I didn't even know that. Only found out a couple of days ago. He's on loan from Villa. He's a top player.
I mean, this guy is the ideal one, I think, but I don't think PSG let him go.
I'm sure your friends were tweeting about him a couple of months ago.
My friends?
Couple of friends?
I don't think we get him. I'd be very, very surprised if PSG let him go.
I think you get Wharton for 70 million quid, Asim.
No,
I mean, would you get Adam Wharton right now for 70 million? Galgar?
I would go 100. I would go 100.
Because I would go 100 million. What a basket. Right, now I want the comments involved, man. Comments. Would you sign Adam Wharton right now for 70 million quid?
Yes or no?
I think everyone would. In a heartbeat. There you go.
No. We've not received yes. No for a tick.
He says yes. Bro, Adam Wharton, no. I love Adam Wharton, man. He needs Liverpool Football Club. Because, mate, he'd ball for us.
You know what we're going to do in the next week or two? When there's, I think, one game a week now, isn't there? We're going to have a show where we sign. I'll give you 5 players. I said 4, but I'll give you 5. Then we're going to see.
But you have to sell 5 too.
Tika. And we're going to give ourselves a proper.
You need a balance.
And we'll see. We'll come back to the show at the end of the window.
I like this Owen guy, but I like Owen. Owen, I like you, mate. They do.
Homegrown too.
You talk about Barrios a lot. Any interest? Good feelings?
He's not going to leave Atleti yet.
No, he ain't leaving.
A superb player though. Like, for me, he's over Zubimendi now. Definitely a player. Dean Huijsen. Just asked about Dean Huijsen. I know people are saying that Chelsea. Look, we know that Chelsea will offer him more money, better package, whatnot. It all depends on what the player wants. I believe the player will lean towards playing for Liverpool Football Club if it came down to the two.
Apparently,
really confident.
I think I'm honestly
confident that Dean Huijsen could potentially be the second signing of the summer.
Dean Huijsen could be the potential second signing of the summer. Who's the first?
Not yet.
What do you mean? No, yeah, I'll tell you the first one. Kirkes. What do you mean? Not yet. I'll tell you the first one. Ryan. Kirkes, yeah. I'm signing Kirkes, man. Kirkes is a done deal, bro.
Kirkes
is the first. Huijsen is the second. Then we're going all out Isak. If we get him, fair play. If not, we're getting Gordon. And then we're going all out signing Wharton. And then the last one's going to be free.
Isak could be
actually, that show that you were talking about, Asim, I've given you my 5.
Isak will be the long.
I know what it'll change next week.
Isak will be the long-term saga.
Huh?
That'll go over this. That'll go throughout the summer. Kieran,
Avi,
very interesting.
Wow, Avi,
that is an interesting tweet.
Do you think, Avi? Do you think Milos Kirkes is a done deal? Putting you on the spot, you don't have to answer.
Nothing's a done deal until they're leaning in Kirby.
Okay, you'll be a good politician.
This is wicked.
Incomparable. But Asim, talking about central midfielders, someone that hasn't been mentioned, and probably a very realistic target with the model, the data, the analytics, relegation team. Mateus Fernandes. I keep saying that name. Just watch out for him. He was liked at Sporting Lisbon. He was scouted at Sporting Lisbon like they all are. But he's a player that can certainly do a job.
Where would he fit into our team?
I would even play him in a Gravenberch role. He's not a DM, but he can play that role, or as like a Mac Allister role. He can definitely cover a couple of positions. I think he's got an engine on him. He's a solid midfielder. He's 21 as well. 21.
How much would he cost?
His dual numbers are impressive for a little guy too, Asim. I think he's got. Someone said he's got a £25 million release clause, which is next to nothing.
He's 20 years old. Wow. His underlying numbers are good.
There's a couple of players in the relegation teams which I wouldn't mind seeing.
We like a relegation sort of signing, don't we?
We love Gino Ronaldo, Robertson, Shaqiri. We love him. Don't be surprised. Ragnar Klavan, I'm sure he came from a team in Germany that was on relegation.
Oh, Mohammed Yara, we know you want Vitinha. You don't need to spam the comments, bro.
Oh,
we all
Vitinha,
want
come on.
Vitinha,
We
but
have
you're
to be
living in cloud
realistic.
cuckoo. You're living in cloud cuckoo. Yeah, don't make me block you again, man. But you
Even
just
if
go
we-
spam the comments.
Even if we throw money at Vitinha, he's not coming.
No.
It's not happening. It's not happening. You don't think we're going to go for Frimpong as well, do we? Do you, Avi?
Right, that's it. I've had enough of him.
No, leave him. Mohammed, come on.
Yeah, he's doing it 6-7 times. Please, any more, and I'm getting him thinking. I'm in a good mood today as well. So please, Mohammed, chill, man.
I said no. I don't think Frimpong's a target. Ekatike, Xavi Simons, and Frimpong. I know what are the hipster names? They're Dutch. The connections made there. Hugo Ekatike, obviously not Dutch, but I just don't see it with those three.
I've had enough. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, and they could be Martin Fernandez as well or Porto. Let's see.
What were your thoughts about this lad here, Avi?
Monaco right back. He's good. He's good.
Dean's right though. The right back links are quiet, Avi.
Trent Signs.
Trent Signs?
No. Maybe Trent Signs. Maybe Trent Signs. I tell you, Dean likes this player, but this guy's mentioned. Muju's mentioned Piaxo for Feyenoord, PSV. Feyenoord. I know Dean Regan has gone on about him. Piaxo. Catchow, whatever.
There's a super chat that's just come in.
The Brazilian right back, he's good as well, Wesley. Fair enough.
Ash has sent another super chat. He's fighting the Cherki campaign. Mohamed Kibriya. Boys, I've been saying Wharton, but Kamara for 40 million.
I mean, Kamara would be good value. Would be good value. Anyway, enough of the transfer talk. Asim,
There's one more.
Richard Rios, Colombian. He was sent off in the what was it?
Oh, he was supposed to be. Wasn't he supposed to like kick off or something? This
he
player.
Was sent
he had
off
a good Euros in Colombia.
Moby did a scout on him, and he was sent off in that same game. Yeah, Reinders has always been.
Nico Paz, yeah, he's good, man.
But I do want to talk about Arsenal, Asim.
What do you want to talk about Arsenal? Talk to me about Arsenal.
The Arsenal fans not here today. You want to talk about Arsenal?
No, you know what? We should give him a shout out. We should give them a shout out, not him.
Ooh.
Give him a shout out.
Arsenal.
I will when they win it.
That's what
when they win it, man.
Asim, for you I want to ask you this because a lot of people, our good uncle Grizzy said that Declan Rice is world class, and I sort of said no, he's not world class for me. There's been ample opportunities where he should have stood up and shone.
Yeah.
Italy in the Euros, Spain in the Euros, got taught footballing lesson. What do you make of Declan Rice? Is he world class for you? He did, you know what? To be fair, he did win the Conference League with West Ham. But overall, is he a world class player?
Is he world class? I'm a Declan Rice fan, but I think it's a bit early to call him world class. He can't control
world class in that position for you. It's hard, isn't it?
It is very hard.
There's a lot of players. I think there's a lot of players on the cusp of world class in that position. Sorry?
Is Pedri world class?
Hmm.
Pedri's world class.
Yeah. What I would say about when you judge a player about world class
in a defensive midfield role, yes.
You have to judge him. He can't play a 6 and control a game. The proof is in the pudding in that, because he was bought as a 6. But what he does is, as I think his running power, is he the Szoboszlai of Arsenal? There's some similarities where he puts a shift in, and his running power is unbelievable. His physicality is unbelievable. His drive into the box is unbelievable. We've seen recently his delivery is very, very underrated. Even before these two unbelievable free kicks, I thought his delivery, especially from corners, was unbelievable. But said unbelievable about 10 million times. But going back to how I judge a player in world class is they have to perform in every environment. And I think Arsenal, one of their limitations this year is their lack of chances, where they've got someone like a ball retention guy in Odegaard, where he's not playing in the number 10, receiving and all that sort of stuff. That is one of them. But the other reason is Declan Rice, where they, especially the Emirates, where they come up against a bus, where Declan Rice, if he's going to play next to Partey, then he needs to be in that number 10 position, receiving back to goal. And I don't think that is his strength. And sometimes they've been found wanted. And I think he struggles in those environments. So can you call him what he does for Arsenal, especially his best performances for Arsenal, I think, is when games have been stretched, where teams
you see him running on and taking 20 yards up the pitch and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so that's where I think Mac Allister is better at him, better compared to him, where he can go into those higher positions and receive on the half turn. Declan Rice really struggles for me.
Is he world class or not, Asim?
No, I won't call him Declan Rice world class yet. But he's an unbelievable player and I really like him.
Gina, is Alexis Mac Allister world class player?
Alexis Mac Allister world class.
Close. Both are close, I'll be honest with you. I like them both. I love Mac Allister and I'm a massive fan of him. I think Mac Allister is close.
But what I would say about Declan Rice,
he's not world class yet though.
Yeah, but they're both big game players.
They're big game players. Oh, but there's no doubt. And I'll tell one thing with them two is they don't go missing. That they've both of them have got cojones to go again. Yes, they might have certain limitations in their game. Mac Allister isn't the quickest. He's not going to take you up the yard, quick in terms of what Declan Rice does. So slightly different players, but both have got qualities that you definitely need to be playing for a team like Liverpool and a team like Arsenal who are going for the Champions League this season.
Okay. Back to you, Asim. What would Mac Allister need to do to become world class?
Get a pair of legs.
That's never going to happen. Scholes didn't have a pair of legs.
Yeah, but look, Avi.
Asim, Paul Scholes didn't have a pair of legs.
But look, Avi, if Mac Allister can be world class, if he keeps on performing for the next 2-3 years.
So 2 Copa Americas with Argentina, a World Cup with Argentina, a Premier League title winner with.
No, because I'm judging his
influential in big games.
Avi, we're talking about
I'm judging his performance in Liverpool.
We're talking individual.
I'm judging his performance on Liverpool. I'm not talking about Argentina.
Okay.
But I tell you one thing. I tell you one thing about Mac Allister, Avi. He's a frigging winner.
Yeah.
When he gets on that pitch, he's a frigging winner, and that is a world class. And he has world class attitude on that pitch. The game that's just going to get West Ham. There's a corner that I think Tsimikas gave away, and he flipping looked at Tsimikas like, "What the hell did you do? Why did you give that corner away?"
Yeah, he did.
He could tell, and he demands. He's captain material. That's what Mac Allister is. He's actually a captain material, a guy that leads by example. Players will look up for him. He's a quality footballer. He's got everything about him. Knows the game inside out. And you can tell he's a technician. But in terms of world class, Avi, he still needs to go a little, do a little more. Where he's running the game in a sense where he's the main. It needs to become one of the main, like the main man. I know it's difficult when you've got a team like Liverpool. It's hard with Salah and these type of players. But I need a bit more from Mac Allister. But don't get me wrong, I love him to bits because he's an unbelievable footballer.
Going back to Arsenal, Avi, I think Saka's world class. Would you agree?
No, I don't agree. Salah's world class.
Of course.
And I look at the numbers that Salah's doing for the last 8 years. I look at the personal accolades. Saka's still way off. Salah is elite. Messi and Ronaldo are elite. There's not many that will hit that elite level. Salah is world class.
Your benchmark is Salah. That's a high benchmark.
I can't justify you saying Salah is in that same bracket as.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that as well.
No.
There's still categories within the world class, isn't there? Well, you can still.
Avi, if Salah's with
I think
respect,
once
if
you
Salah's
finish-
your benchmark, if Salah is the benchmark, I'm sorry, but nobody's fucking world class then. With
No,
respect,
no.
with
You have a world class bracket, yeah, and then you have an elite is like Ronaldo, Messi. No one's going to be.
Salah is elite in today's modern game.
Yeah, no, he's world class. He's world
Okay.
class.
So what do you call elite? What do you call elite players?
Saka isn't in that class yet. Saka wins the European Cup and changes a final, starts performing and carries Arsenal to a Premier League title.
Yeah. Why do you have to?
Once he hits that first major, yes, and those numbers.
Gerrard never won the league.
Gerrard carried us in the Champions League final.
We never won the league though.
He beat the greatest Milan team, bar none.
Yeah, but it's a cup competition. I'm playing devil's advocate, but you don't have to define a player by. You have to. What? Look, I think Saka will be.
Certain players, Asim, have to carry their team, club, country in a big game. Declan Rice has had 2 failed Premier League campaigns. He's failed twice, runners-up against Spain, and he's captain. Asim, he's captain.
You check Saka's number for the last 4 or 5 years.
At 100 million. When Van Dijk signed for 75 million, 80 million, whatever it was like, oh, absolute rip-off. This is what he does. Van Dijk shunned all that. He literally shunned all that and won everything that there was to win.
Avi, you check Saka's numbers for the last 4 years.
World-class players have to win world-class trophies too. I'm not talking about charity shields like Lego head counts. I'm not talking about the odd FA Cup. Saka needs to perform in the biggest games of them all. He did well in the Bernabeu. Now take it to the semi-final and take it to the final.
So if Saka performs unbelievably well in the 2 legs in the semi-final, plays unbelievably well in the final as well, but loses, he can't be world class.
So these what I'm trying to get at. When I'm talking about world class players, there needs to be a medal collection shown to it as well. Now the caveat is that people will say, is Harry Kane world class?
Perfect. I think Harry Kane is
That's
world
what I'm saying. The caveat will be, is Harry Kane world class? I don't believe Harry Kane is world class.
Harry Kane was world class. Sorry?
Kane is a great player, not world class for me.
Come on, Harvey.
Kane has not been world class for you since when he was playing for Tottenham.
Great player, not a world class player.
Yeah, Avi,
how can you call Harry Kane and his career?
Harry Kane was world class for striker, man. They're at the mark, Avi. Do you watch football?
World class players, I want to see a medal.
No. You don't look at world class players. You don't look at world class players. You look at trophies. When it's a team trophy, come on, man. Yes, I'm not saying you can't. You shouldn't. World class players don't deliver trophies. Yes, they do deliver trophies. But that is not the only flipping thing that you look at when you're looking at if somebody's world class or not. Come on, man. It's like somebody's like can go for playing for Liverpool Ipswich for 10 years and go so close to winning a title, do it for 10 years. You can say the guy's world class, but he just didn't win a trophy. That happens with footballers.
So
you're living in clubs.
You two both agree Saka is world class.
I think so.
I'll give you my take on Saka. Before the start of the season, for me, he was not world class. I'll be open and honest. This season, when he played for Arsenal and what he was doing, his numbers were incredible at the start of the season. He was obviously Salah was ahead, but Salah wasn't like 10 goals ahead. He was only, I think, like 4 goals ahead and a few assists ahead. Salah was having an unbelievable season. Saka was having an unbelievable season before he had the injury. And that's when he proved to me that, you know what, this kid is world class. And now he's come back. Since he's come back, he's actually plays well. And he's scoring, just in at the Bernabeu as well. I think he's just hit the world class bracket for me now. He's definitely hit the bracket for me now.
There's a lot of caveats. Like, look, Ash says something great here. Look, West Brown got 20 medals. What are we doing here? Judge players, not teams. There's loads of caveat questions. You can always look, Saka and Rice have to influence big games. They need to see their team. They need to see a Premier League campaign out and win it. They need to win the European Cup for me to be labelled world class.
Is he world class? Well, somehow.
I remember that name, man.
We'll stick to Arsenal. Do you think William Saliba?
I've got a question. Last question for Gina before you go, Asim. Gina,
100% Hazard. 100%
Oh yeah,
Hazard was
Hazard
world
was world
class.
class. Of course he was.
Hazard was
Is
different
he
level, man.
aesthetically better than Salah?
I don't talk in aesthetics, man. Talk me numbers.
I mean, do you think William Saliba is world class? Well, you're not gonna you're gonna say no.
But for him, no, because don't fuck all.
A league title.
Saliba's
Do you
not.
think Saliba is world class?
Are we saying Saliba's world class, Asim?
I'm asking you. Well, you've just ruled him out because you're.
You've
going
just
back
said Saliba's not world class.
Avi, Gene, he has to because he
Over
goes,
the
I
course
will
of
only.
what, 1 or 2 years. Are you feeling all right?
3 years, bro. He's been arguably behind Van Dijk. He's the best defender in the world. If you ask me.
Guys, remember.
Okay, who's been a better defender than in the world? With respect,
Remember this.
who's been a better defender than him over the last 3
Remember
years?
the term. Okay, let me finish. Remember what we're trying to talk here, yeah? World class Cannavaro, Van Dijk.
Oh, come on, man.
Rafael
Cannavaro's
Varane.
like generational.
Okay,
Avi,
Rafael Varane.
Cannavaro's
Rafael Varane.
your
Rafael
greatest of the game.
Chiellini. Saliba, not yet.
Saliba is a world-class centre-back, man.
Asim
No, I mean,
trajectory.
you've got the bar too high. Cannavaro and these guys were world class, but they were generational.
Like the great Sarib says, I've got expectations.
You can still be world class, but not be generational like Cannavaro and the boys.
I can't sit here and say Saliba is a world class defender.
Is
I mean,
Bastoni
world class,
world-class?
you have to judge it
Trajectory's
on
up there.
today's
Trajectory's
game.
up there. Bastoni?
Is Bastoni world-class?
Not yet. Will be, not yet.
Avi, you have to judge the world class level on today's game. So you can't judge him and say he hasn't reached the level of
Goes,
Cannavaro.
Avi, name 5 world-class defenders today. There is
No.
just
That's a
Van
good
Dijk.
question. That's a good question.
He's just got Van Dijk.
Avi, can you name 5 world class defenders today?
I can only name you one right now. Virgil.
Virgil van
No,
Dijk.
in a world class team, Avi have one defender. Avi would have one.
I would say Rudiger has a shout. Is a world class defender.
He's not better than Saliba, Avi. He's been an unbelievable player for especially at Real
Okay,
Madrid.
so my argument, it could be a wrong argument, totally wrong argument. I look at accolades too. What they've done for that team at that precise moment. Thiago Silva was world class. Saliba right now, no.
Who's better than Saliba right now apart from Van Dijk?
Nobody.
Sorry?
Who's better than Saliba apart from
Rudiger, he
Van
said,
Dijk?
innit?
Who's better than Saliba and who's going to be better than Van Dijk? Pau Kousi.
Yeah, but he's not world class at the moment because he don't won a trophy.
They're going to win the league.
So Kousi is better than Saliba right now.
Oh, for me, yeah.
Shut the fuck! Are you
End the
having
show.
a laugh?
End the show. End the show.
Pau Kousi is a more accomplished defender already at 17 than William Saliba.
Avi, yeah, today was be calm as you like show, man. I was supposed to have a nice calm as you like show. You've turned it to Sarib with these takes. Pau Kousi.
Will go down in history as one of the greatest defenders.
Your best mates are here. Avi, you're trolling. You're trolling.
No, Asim. He believes. I know about Kousi because this guy loves Kousi. He's always mentioned him. To be fair to him, he mentioned him to two and a half years ago. He did.
He's a proper
I give him.
I don't know how we're saying Saliba is world class yet. Would we say Konate is world class then?
Eh?
Are we saying
you can say that? You can say that. No, you can't say it because you're home for call.
No. I'm asking. No. There's no right or wrong because I'm saying that for me to call these players world class, I need to see accolades.
I think Ibu's only question mark is his injuries. That's what puts a question mark on Ibu. On his day, Ibu, give me a better defender that what he does for us. Give me a better defender on his day than Ibu Konate.
Did Saliba make a mistake yesterday for the winning goal?
He did. Oh, come on. You're going to judge him on one mistake?
No, I was just asking the question. I didn't mock you. I just said, okay, take it.
He didn't give Mbappe and these guys a kick over 2 legs.
He did.
Neither did Bradley, to be fair.
And then Bradley missed him as well. Chalo, ठीक है. Is that the wrap? Are you guys?
We had to play. No, I think the world class debate. I think it's so open and wild that it's nice to see what people classify as world class. Because back in the day, we could name Maldini, Cannavaro, Baresi, And
Avi,
right now, there's a perception stuck.
Avi.
How do we compare Declan Rice?
Avi.
How do we say Declan Rice is world class? How do we?
Avi,
He's not world class.
Avi, can you just for a second look at who you named? The best left back probably ever to have played the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Baresi, the greatest, one of the greatest centre backs ever. Cannavaro, one of the greatest centre backs.
This Van Dijk belongs.
You're comparing with the
Gine. So simple for you: Stam, Maldini, Baresi, Cannavaro. Yeah, at the moment, Nesta. Those five.
Nesta. They were like.
Does Van Dijk sit in that company?
100%.
Of course he does.
Yeah. Does Saliba sit in that company?
No.
Not yet. No.
Because Van Dijk, you've mentioned one of the probably 4 or 5 best defenders ever, Avi. So there's a generational elite level, and then there's a world-class level.
No, you can't have elite level for defenders too. Elite level is Messi, Maradona, Pele, Ronaldo. Elite. Then it's
why? So if you're a defender, you can't be elite because you don't score goals. So Paolo Maldini is not elite footballer.
Of course he is, mate.
He's world-class footballer.
You know what? End the stream. I'm going. You know, if a guy on here cannot admit to me that Paolo Maldini was elite, Avi, guess what? You're actually chatting yarbles now. Guess what? Don't make me go for you, man, because that's taking the piss out of the game.
No. Gina, I'm
just saying Roberto Carlos wasn't elite. Come on, Cafu wasn't elite. They're elite footballers, man. They're talking the greatest that have ever played their game in their positions.
Can I tell you about something about Roberto Carlos? I never rated him. I never rated him at Inter. I never rated him at Real Madrid. I never rated him wherever else he went.
Look at him. Honestly, seriously, man. Paolo Maldini, man. How can you call him elite? That is disrespect. That's disrespect to football.
Avi, would you put Van Dijk in those 4 or 5 defenders that you mentioned? Like Baresi and Maldini?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Japstam, it belongs in that company as well. Not Saliba yet. Guys, these what I mean. If you look at Van Dijk, just the course of the last 7 years in the Premier League with Liverpool, Saliba, the amount of mistakes that he has made this season, there's no way he's in that level. Let me see Saliba shout out the Barcelona front 3 in the final, or shout out the PSG front 3 in the semi-finals. Then we'll reconsider.
He's just shut out arguably. He's just shut out world-class winner, world-class Mbappe. Can you say world-class Bellingham? And he took him to the cleaners. This is me giving bloody Arsenal flowers, and I don't like doing it.
You both say Bellingham is world-class.
I have to give them. They were unbelievable over the last 2 weeks. He didn't let them move.
I think Bellingham is world-class, but he's running like a dog in that team. Because them 3 don't run, apart from maybe Rodrigo. I think Jude Bellingham
was better than Roberto Carlos, 100%.
Huh?
Marcelo was much better than Roberto.
Marcelo, I will always say, so he wasn't elite.
No, Marcelo was world class. For me, elite footballers are attacking footballers. Messi, Ronaldo, Zidane.
Come on,
Zidane. Please. I don't look at defenders.
So Henry was elite. Iniesta, Xavi, they're all elite.
They were world class footballers.
Xavi, Iniesta were just world class
footballers. What's wrong with world class footballers? They still got that's the highest regard I can give them. World class.
So Xavi and Iniesta are not elite.
I think they're world class.
They were elite as well.
Beg to differ.
Why don't you think Iniesta? Chin, give me 1 second. Why don't you? So
how was Zidane? Why was Zidane world class? Elite gone. Zidane was a midfielder gone.
Look how he painted a picture. Look how he painted the game.
This guy's left us. Anyway, look.
This was Zidane.
He's off the rocker. Anyway, I think it's time to end the stream today.
Gene, I'm intrigued. I think he's serious.
He is. I know he's serious. But Avi, before we go, we're on a nice. I'm chilled today. Can we have an Avi bomber before we go? Okay, let me check the lights first.
Just to Huijsen that we're in pole position for Huijsen.
Huijsen, yeah. Is that the only bomber we're getting today?
Pole position.
Pole position to sign Huijsen.
Pole position to sign Huijsen.
Pole position, not pole.
I like that.
Pole position.
Okay.
ठीक है.
Are we going tomorrow?
Me and
The chip
Avi
and
are,
team?
yes.
We are potentially going tomorrow.
Let's end it on that. We're in pole position to sack Avi.
Jazzy was one of my, you know, a
That's
quick
me,
story
Avi.
about
You don't know
Jazzy.
what.
You won't remember. He was one of my haters on Twitter, by the way. He's on block.
Oh,
Yeah,
alright.
Javi's are.
Jazzy,
Listen,
we
you're
got
allowed to hate Avi at times. We all do.
Let,
It's
let
okay.
him go. So let him have a bit of freedom on that.
Okay, people. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. We catch you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care, everyone.